We're here in the castle grounds beside the Creed. You can probably hear it gurgling in the background, and here's the first of our 3 carnivorous plants. This is butterwort, sometimes called bog violet because it's got a little blue flower which looks like a violet. In Gaelic it's called mohan, and it's called butterwort because they used to use the leaves to curdle milk, and they also used to crush them and use them to spread on cows' udders. It was believed to have medicinal properties. It's found all over the northern hemisphere, including in North America, and it catches insects on sticky secretions from the leaves. It releases sort of sticky, gooey secretions, and then once it's caught the insects, the leaves curl up a little bit at the edges, and it releases enzymes and acids to digest the insects it's caught. After it's done that, it generally sheds the leaves. It was used medicinally. It was thought to cure whooping cough and fever, and also to make your hair grow. So that was one of the beliefs in the old days as to what it was used for. It's quite common, a real specialist on acid wet land, so quite common on the islands, and actually in most of Scotland as well, apart from some areas in the central belt. We're here on the Arnish Moor. You can perhaps hear the wind turbines in the background, which have the 3 wind turbines on the Arnish Moor, to look at the second carnivorous plant, the sundew. These are actually rather common on the island, but very inconspicuous. This one's a common sundew. They live in very wet areas, often on the edge of pools in the bog, and that's where this one is right at the moment. Right on the edge of a pool, semi-submerged quite often by water. You can see that they have sort of red hairs on their leaves, and these are tipped with a gooey sweet substance which insects like. The insects get trapped in this, and then the leaf will curl up, much more so than the butterwort that we looked at earlier, and trap the insect, and the plant will secrete chemicals then to digest it. The plant is in Gaelic called Lusna Thiarnich, the adder's plant, and it was used in old cures for coughs, and in fact modern chemistry has shown that there is an anti-cough chemical within it, so some of the old wives' tales are true. And it was also used on the island for yellow and purple dyes, so it was one of the plants used when traditional plants were used for dyeing. So I have a small plant and quite difficult to see. It's got a little flower. You can't quite see it on these, but there are some flowers on the other ones. The flowers release their pollen often when they're shut, and then when they open, the pollen goes away. It was also used in some recipes, or the nectar from it was used in some recipes in the old days as well. So there we have it, that's a sundew. I thought this might be interesting to look at. This is a different type of sundew here. You can possibly see that the leaves are not elongated, but rather like little round paddles. And in this one we can also see the flower stems just coming up here. So it makes a contrast to the previous type that we looked at, which was the common sundew, showing that there are more than one species of sundew on the island. Here we have the third and final carnivorous plant on our list, and this is the most inconspicuous one. This is called bladderwort. It traps insects in small bladders which are underwater. The plant itself is fully aquatic, and so it's quite difficult to see. It has pretty little yellow flowers, but it very seldom flowers on the islands. It's too far north for it. And try as I might, I've looked everywhere from Porterness down to Rodel. I haven't been able to find an example of one flowering to show you. In Gaelic, according to the books, it's called Vus Bavacan, but that's just a direct translation of the English name, and I don't think that's probably the authentic Gaelic name for it. But I haven't been able to find one, and I've never heard an authentic Gaelic name for it. I did look up what the Irish Gaelic for it was, and it's called Borach or Borry in Gaelic. It's pretty difficult to spot, although it's quite common because it is underwater and because it seldom flowers. And this example I'm showing you here is on the Arnish Moor at the same place as I showed you the sundews earlier on. There's a lot of different species of bladderwort, and they're pretty indistinguishable from each other in the field. They all sort of breed together, and so it can be quite difficult to work out which one's which. When it's lifted out of the water, it just ends up as a sort of soggy mess. Let me try and do that just to show you. You can perhaps see the tiny little bladders on it. I'll take some photographs of it and put it on after the video so that you can see them more closely perhaps. So that's the final plant, bladderwort.